In today's episode, we're going to talk about subject matter. We said in the last episode we're going to continue on with subject matter and kind of blow it up a little bit. What we're going to talk about today is the genre that your film is going to fit into, because it's going to fit into one of the established genres that already exist. There's no way that you're going to be making a film that has never been made before. Okay, it fits into something like what's on this list coming up right here. Mystery, thriller, fantasy. Is your film a romance? Is it a comedy? Is it a drama, action, or horror film? Now, these genres, I admit, are kind of subjective. I pulled this off the internet because it was one person's opinion. I actually don't quite agree with it. I'm going to give you another slide here, and this is the way I see it. I think there's really only four groups: fantasy, romance, comedy, and drama. And under drama, there are several subcategories or subgenres: action, horror, mystery, thriller. They're all going to be under drama. That's my opinion. If you wanted to break it down further, let's say you wanted to do a western. Nobody does westerns anymore, but let's say you did. Or maybe a martial arts fighting type of film. Well, that's going to go under action. What genre should you use in your film? Maybe you've already decided what it's going to be, but there are some things that we need to discuss because there are some differences. So first of all, fantasy. Is that what you wanted to do? Well, in fantasy, you're going to need some graphics, some CGI, some special effects. Unless you know how to do that, I would pass on that. I don't think that's really wise, because it's going to take a lot of time and effort, and if you don't have the background how to do it, you're going to be looking for someone to do it. And romance, yes, I think that this is a good one. I think a romance can be done by beginners. No special effects are needed, and you also can do it about a variety of age groups. It doesn't just have to be young people, okay? I also don't think you need actors with special skills. So your friends, relatives, excuse me, they can probably do it. Comedy. Okay, comedy. I don't think this is really an easy one to write unless you have experience already writing this type of screenplays. I would really encourage you, if you want to do a comedy, that you take your finished script now, and you give it to an experienced writer to look over and give you input. Because what you think is funny may not be funny at all to someone else. But you have to hear it from an experienced writer. Don't just give your finished script to a friend or a relative that has no experience in writing. That's worthless. If you're going to get an experienced writer, I think they can give you the best input. But to be honest with you, you're probably going to have to be ready to pay some money to that experienced writer, because there are people out there that will charge for their time. I think it's going to be worth it. Find a good one, all right? I think that comedy is in the writing. I think it's in the dialogue. It's in the setups. I do not believe that it's just people acting silly on camera. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, yeah, that was kind of an exception, wasn't it? Yeah. I didn't really care for that film, but you got your main actor, I'm not going to mention the name, but just acting kind of crazy and silly, and I guess some people liked it. I really didn't get it. I really didn't. How about Borat or the Jackass movies? Yeah, boy, that kind of throws a monkey wrench into what I just said. You talk about silliness, you talk about stupidity, you talk about films that practically have no storyline whatsoever, and yet those series made millions. And it's true. It is true. I guess the one thing I can say or will say about that is, if that's the kind of film that you want to be known for, fine. But I think a lot of film festivals are not going to want to touch those films because they do things that are just outright unnecessary and offensive. Okay? Drama. Drama. This is where we're all at. I think every beginner can pen a dramatic script, a dramatic screenplay, even without experience. I think this is where we start off. I think this is what you probably should be thinking of. Basically, you've got a main character and they encounter a conflict, and the rest of the film is the resolution of that conflict, or conflicts, I should say. And that's the basis of a drama. I want to say one more thing about one of the subcategories under drama that I had listed, and that's horror. Horror is definitely a drama. It is one of the most popular formats for beginning filmmakers to use, and the reason is very simple. The plot line, the storyline is very structured, and it's pretty basic to put together. You've got your protagonist, your hero. They may have some friends, and there's a bad guy or bad guys after them. Now, there may be some casualties in your storyline, but the protagonist basically has two resolutions to this conflict. They are going to kill the bad guy, or they're at least going to chase them away for an indefinite period of time so that they will never be seen again, as far as you know. That's it. There's your story right there. And it is simple. And a lot of people latch on to it and they think, this is what I want to do. And I think they're right. I think that this is a good starting point for a lot of beginning filmmakers. So, there you go. Okay, let's talk about a few things that were not on the list. Music and dance. I'm not sure what category that fits into. Maybe it is a different genre, a separate genre all itself. But I do think that music, dance, besides the dialogue, you've got to get music. You've got to choreograph the dance. I wouldn't do it. That's too much work. And you're really going to need a lot of help to get that. I think that's way beyond just a simple short film. Parodies. Parodies fit under the domain of comedy. And I just said that comedy is something that you may not want to do, but parodies are a lot of fun. And you're not really starting from scratch, because what parodies do is they kind of do a takeoff on a movie or a TV show. You kind of use the same characters, but you cannot use the same names as what's on the show. And you cannot use the title in your film. If you try that, you're going to be in big legal trouble. But you can get creative, with the parodies. They're a lot of fun, even for beginners. They can really get into it. For example, if you wanted to do a short film about with a large cast, you could make your large cast, I don't know, maybe survivors of a plane crash on a deserted island. And they have been on this island for a long time. You get a whole bunch of white people, and they're going to be Well, no, not just white people. You got to throw in an Indian and a couple of Koreans, to meet the diversity standards. But it'd be pretty fun and kind of simple to do. And the reason why it's simple is because you're not going to have any action in this particular film. All of your actors, because they've been, all of your characters that would be in this film, they've been on this island for 15, 20 years. So they're all middle-aged folks. And they're not going to be running around climbing trees or stuff like that. They're going to be coming down to the evening campfire where they gather around and they complain about their sore elbow and sore knee, and their ankle is acting up, things like that. Or maybe they like to talk about what certain local fruits can really do a number on your digestive cycle. Yeah, and all the graphic details that can come out of that kind of conversation, So, those are the kind of ideas in a parody. Or if you don't want to do that, why not a cop show? Oh, a couple of guys, one kind of tall guy, dark hair, another guy, shorter, blonde guy with a high hairstyle. And both of these guys belong to some really weird religious sect where they don't allow their razor to actually touch their face when they shave. It's kind of weird. You don't do that, I don't do that, but they do every day. And, you could do an episode of them solving a crime. The tall guy, you could call him, what's a good name? Beeve. That's name just kind of popped into my mind. Beeve. And the shorter guy, he would be Banford. Banford would be his name. Call him Bano for short. Yeah. So it'd be Bano and the Beeve. Just brainstorming here, folks. Just pulling stuff from the air. And in the next episode, we're going to continue with these kind of ideas, and we're going to talk more about some of the things that you really need to keep in mind when you're making your film. And the first thing we're going to talk about is your audience. Who is your audience? Who have you targeted to be your audience? Folks, this is kind of important. I may have mentioned this before, but this is going to determine what film festivals you're going to be submitting your film to. So, until then, we'll see ya. Aloha.